Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome back to another Chelsea transfer watch on a Chelsea Perspective. As usual, I'm going to repeat myself. It's a window where I usually say there's nothing, or not so much is happening, but so much to talk about. But this time, so much is happening. So so there's so much to talk about. We'll talk about Koulibaly, we'll talk about Raheem Sterling, we'll talk about Levi Colwill, Ian Matson, and a whole lot of other stuff. And we'll talk about Chelsea fans blaming Thomas Tuchel already without seeing things from the manager's own perspective. And also, all they know is that Levi Colwill is leaving on is living at the club permanently. But that's, by the way, more importantly, I want to say good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone because I know it is not the same time everywhere. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, how are you all doing today? I sincerely do hope you're all doing well. Now, as it's a tradition on Chelsea Perspective, I will start by looking at what we have in the chart already. See how my people are doing. Those, they're the reason why the channel is where it is today. They're the reason why the channel is approaching the 5,000 subscribers, and that's not easy. Yesterday we hit 4,000 subscribers, and already we're like a quarter we're a quarter into 5,000 subscribers, and that's not easy. So thank you very much. And as you're coming in right now, if you haven't, please take a second to like the video, because the truth is, the more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the more the stream will be pushed to more people who would be interested in this particular kind of topic. And like I've always said, I would rather you like the video than you donating your hard-earned money to the channel, because there are other ways the channel can make money. So thank you. And thank you very much. So as you're coming in, please, and if you haven't, please do like the video. And here, True Blue says they signed him. I think it's referring to Raheem Sterling Monday afternoon. The medical, Monday after the medical, but they wanted him in the US to make a big announcement. We don't assign players for Sky Sports to announce anymore. Yeah, that's just the truth. And again, I remember you were the first to talk about how you think the Starling will be unveiled in the United States. I think you saw things from a business perspective, and it makes a perfect sense. Here, the tribute again says if Romano is correct, Colwell leaving on a full transfer. It's disappointing if true, but again, it's looking like it is the truth. If you look at how many centre backs that were linked with, and if you look, we still have. If you look at the players we already have at the club, we still have Trevor Chalobah. Again, I think just him right now, but that would be quite a lot of centre halves. Trevor Chalobah, Thiago Silva, Kimpembe, who again, and then we have Kalidou Koulibaly. That's four of them. I think. Do I miss? If I miss any name, please do remind me. So the numbers are going up. So there's a chance Levi Colwill himself asked to leave. That was why I prayed and hoped that Huddersfield make it to the Premier League. Had they made it to the Premier League, it would be easier to convince him to stay with Huddersfield and play at least one season with them, and he would have agreed. It would have been easy to convince him, but that didn't happen. That was when I knew it would be very difficult to keep him, even if the manager tells him, okay, you get to play games here and there, which I know will be very difficult to convince a player of his talent. And already he knows there are no shortage of buyers, there are no shortage of clubs who are looking at, to get him to put pen to paper. But that's, by the way, Lawler says a great signing, Koulibaly. Hope he performs well. I'd say he is a brilliant signing. I think it's one it's good business. Although I'm still thinking maybe we paid too much than we should pay for the player. But again, that's my argument. Let's see how that pans out. A big up Kachila. Midnight streams. Midnight stream teams are hitting up. Yes, everybody wants a piece of the cake. Because the fans are out there searching for news, looking, okay, what's going on there? And they want to know more. So if you can stream, then you get a chance to get even more subscribers. So it only makes sense. It is the season. It's called the silly season. Also, it is the silly season for an opportunity for content creators to grow. If you follow the story and if you do your research and keep your users updated. Good morning, says Declared. That's Declared. A very nice way of telling me it's morning where he is, and I like that. Thank you very much. Nice to see you here. Just Viola, the queen of the house, says, hey, Coachella, hey to you too. I hope you're doing well. What a day has been for you. You were here during the Blue Money show. You also went to support Iron Kid for his show. So, yeah, I can't thank you enough. That's not easy. It says, I cannot wait for preseason games. I can't wait for the league to start proper also. It's not just the preseason games. What's up, my guys? What's up, you two? Louis Rivera. You see, you have your center halves. Maybe now you leave I and Tribute alone and not suggest we go play center backs for positions for Chelsea Football Club. Again, hello, everyone. Kimso, how are you doing? Kimso says, can Kovacic play as a CDM? I think he will. It will be very difficult for him to play in that position and then be disciplined enough to protect the defense, especially if we're playing with a three at the back system where you need especially if it's a lone DM, it will be very difficult for him to protect the defense very well, like you'd expect a natural or traditional DM to do so. He's a good player, but believe me, and sometimes he can put in good tackles. But one thing he lacks is the ability to read the game, to be in the right place at the right time, to break up opposition play, and then do something with the ball. I don't think that's something he's good at. I think he's a number 8 who's been deployed as a number 6. That's why you see him more often even when we have 2 6s, he ventures forward more than his pairing. Here, just let me see anything else I have to read here before we move on. Get Aki and Kip Colwell. No, forget Aki and Kip Colwell. That's what makes sense, because if Aki is coming, which means Colwell will hardly get the chance, to participate in games. So I'd rather us not be selfish about the young player's career. Again, I'd rather us not keep on for the sake of us having squad numbers. So that probably before that decision was made, he must have sat down and have a conversation with the club, specifically Thomas Tuchel. Now he will be explained how things will be done as the season during the season. And again, I think if you ask me, I'd argue that the player himself asked to leave the club, because we've heard that he said something like he's not willing to be a bit part player. If that's the case, he's going to leave. But what I know for sure is that the club will most definitely insert a buyback clause on his contract if what we're hearing is in fact the truth. But we'll see what happens. Chelsea are coming back stronger this season. Here's the thing. That's why I've always advised people to calm down. That there's no way you tell me that the club are not, well and truly hard at work behind the scenes. Yes, we had restrictions in place that stopped us, from, making progress in terms of talking with players, getting them to put pen to paper. The club's concern then, and even the fans, our concerns then was to make sure the club don't go under. We were fighting for our survival then, if you recall everything we went through at that point. But that's by the way. So here again, like the streams. Yes, people, keep liking the streams. We have 24 people, 24 likes, and we have 52 people watching. Keep liking the streams, people, to help us reach more people. I appreciate all your support. It's not easy. The channel has gotten where it is today because you are always supporting the channel. So thank you. Abdullah Mukanyela says, breaking Kalidou Koulibaly is flying to Los Angeles tonight, where he will complete his medical tomorrow before joining up with the Chelsea squad. I think that makes sense for him to do his medical in the US rather than flying to London and then again fly to the United States. I don't think that makes a sense. That was why if you followed the story online, journalists and some influencers had it that he was flying to London and then they changed their story. So probably the correct thing will be that he's flying to Los Angeles, to the US. Let me just be clear. I'm not sure where exactly. Do the medical there, and then he's not far away from where the camp is. So that may well be the case. Meanwhile, a contact are made for Kimpembe. PSG wants 42 million, 8 million add-ons to make it a 50 million. Sources close to negotiations state Chelsea, PSG about 16 million apart. I think we Thomas Tuchel will eventually get his man. I think we are coming back. We never went anywhere. It's just that you weren't paying attention. There are factors that if you paid attention to, if you looked at, if you were objective in your reasoning, you would have come to the conclusions that this is the first year under the reign of Todd Boehly, that he do whatever he can to make sure he starts off very well. It is that simple, because starting off on the wrong foot can take time to fix. And I think he's done well so far. And hearing that he's a good negotiator after all. But let's keep going so we get into the show. Says Teslim Wasiu, my Niger brother, says I think we are coming up Blues. Look, I think yesterday's show or the day before, I started the show by saying the floodgate had been swung open, which means the transfers, the players, new signings will be coming in left and right. And I promise you that we'll be at the gate, in front of the gate. And as it happens, we will bring the stories to you. And that's exactly what's happening right now. I've never been concerned, not even a pint of concern. I was just not happy when I learned that the club is beginning that they've you could say forfeited their pursuit of Matisse de Ligt. He's a player I love so much and would have loved to have him at the club. Him and Koulibaly and also Jules Koundé. But that's, by the way, in the case of Jules Koundé, I will not complain too much, because we're hearing that he wasn't the manager's choice, and it's starting to look that was in fact the truth. Again, anything here to read? Let's see. Who should be Chelsea's captain after Cesar Azpilicueta and J5 leaves? I'd say maybe again Thomas Tuchel. I don't know how much say he has on who becomes the captain. If he has a say, I think he'd probably give it to Thiago Silva. And I think, but probably I would advocate. I wouldn't advocate for that. Why? Because it doesn't look like he speaks English. It doesn't look like, even if it doesn't look like he's fluent at this point. But that's, by the way, Chelsea are looking at crazy on market now. We are moving again so fast and faster than most people thought we would be doing. Sign more players. Pay attention. They'll be coming in, but I can't tell you who will be signing. But the truth is, we'll be signing quite a lot of players. Koulibaly already in London, medical in the morning, so he's not flying to the United States. Okay, thank you for that correction there. Aki can play as a CDM, but it's not his specialty. When you talk about playing a CDM, you should be looking for players who specialize in that position, because it takes quite a lot to fulfill that role effectively. You'd have to be able to read the game very well, screen your defense, break up opposition plays. It's not just about being a good tackler. There's so much to it. I think we need a specialized player in that position. Sign up again, new subscriber here, a first-time viewer, looking good. Thank you very much, Chris CMC. I appreciate that. I appreciate you subscribing also. That goes a long way for us. Again, we have 80 people watching and 31 likes. And like I've told you, I'd rather you like the video than donate to the channel, because the likes do go a long way for the channel. Abdul, I'm going to keep reading these. Maybe I'll come back to them later, because that's quite a lot. But I want to say thank you for all the updates. It's not easy. I appreciate that. A message to any Arsenal fans on here. London is blue, always has been and always will be. Again, I agree with you, but we must not rest on our laurels. We must keep working, keep doing things that will help us stay at the top. Else we will lose grounds. I'm still worried that no backup yet for Reece James. And again, Jerry Clooney, let me enlighten you about something. Here on Chelsea Perspective, we don't use the term backups. We say competition. Why do I say that? Here's the thing: we had backups for Marcus, we have backups for Ben Chilwell and Reece James during the course of this past season. And when both players got injured, things went downhill from that moment. Hence, that's why it's important to find competition for Reece James, find competition for what's his name again, Ben Chilwell. So even if they get injured, the players that will come in will be good enough to do that is will do good enough job or even better. And you want Reece James and Ben Chilwell to be on their toes, knowing that if they falter, there are players that are good enough to come in and even do better or do as much as good job as they've done. So, but that's, by the way, here it says, don't bank on the new Chelsea having buybacks. I bank on it. It'd be stupid if they don't do that, but I get your argument. You don't trust them anymore. Chris CMC says the Caldwell thing is a bit worrisome, but otherwise, I do want to say that the Boehly signings to have exceeded my expectations. Some people are surprised the speed at which we're moving right now. But here's something else I want to say is this. We must not just jump to conclusions that maybe Thomas Tuchel don't want to keep the player. I don't think that's the case. The player, we've heard him before time. He said he's going to leave if it's not going to guarantee a starting place or something like that, or enough game time, which I don't think will happen. Onasi says the Koulibaly from a blue shirt to a blue shirt, maybe a royal blue this time. And again, thank you very much for saying that. We need a striker. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Kuli, a better man than Kunde. Again, that's your argument. Sky Sports, Football London, and Romano all stated Koulibaly landed in London. Yep, but there are conflicting reports that he's not yet in London. Maybe I didn't pay attention well. Yes, people, the Queen of the House says smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you for kindly saying that. CMC says aligned with your thoughts. Great discussion here as well, which is a rare these days. Common sense, critical thinking. Love it. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Chris, as CMC. I sincerely do appreciate that. So I'm going to come back to the panel, and in a bit, I will try my best again to catch up with the inputs in the chat. Ty, your thoughts. Are you there with me, Ty?
Yes, I am.
Oh, thank you very much. Your thoughts on the news we're hearing on Koulibaly. Talk about 0 to 100. Drake must be proud of Todd Boehly, how quickly we're moving right now. Your thoughts, I just want to get your thoughts on did you expect it to happen that soon? Because if you remember,
Koulibaly?
I mean, the signing of Koulibaly, if you remember a few days ago when we talked about him, our argument was that it looks like the club's interest on him has cooled off, or cooled down if you want. We weren't talking much about it. Even the last time we did the lineup, I think we took him off or something. Maybe Declan argued that we should leave him there. But I want to get your thoughts. Are you surprised at the pace at which we're moving right now?
No, I'm not. I'm honestly not, because I've always been saying that the club are doing things secretively, and the fact that people say that we're moving so slow. Chelsea are way behind and everything, but this whole situation has proven to me that the club were working secretively. Yes, we knew that he was a potential target and someone that we wanted to bring in, but for me, I think in a sense, the pace of this, I mean, it's not surprising because there's always been a genuine interest there. It was just about if they would have opted to go for him, and I don't want to say give up, but probably move on onto a different target. And if Koulibaly was our next target in terms of being a solution, if the late wasn't possible, maybe they'll do that. So I mean, for me, I'm not really surprised, because I mean, if the club were interested, we've seen what happened with Rafinha, and ever since that Rafinha situation, with us making that bid out and it just being announced out of nowhere, I'm not surprised that this has happened, because if the club were interested, they'll make a bid. And I mean, despite Todd Boehly not having the most in terms of scouting and everything as a director of football, he does have the economics part of it, and he does know the finance of it. So he knows how to to bargain with people, and he's had that experience in the past. So I'm not really surprised with it. The thing is, the only thing I can say I'm surprised about is the fact that we did it like this when we were hearing that the late is still possible. It's not. It hasn't faded away. The possibility is still there. So that's the only thing that surprises me. So I think this probably ends. I'm going to choose my words carefully, but I think this probably ends the pursuit of delete in a sense, because I mean Koulibaly is practically able to do all the rules or perform all the rules that delete was possibly being looked at to fulfill.
So,
So
so you think that's the signing of Koulibaly cancels out the pursuit of the lead? Why do you really think so? How many? I think we can actually have them both, because if you look at
I mean,
the
we
age.
we're looking at three defenders, but
Mhm.
I'm not really sure about us going for the lates to play in that in the central role, to play on the right and play on the left. It will be we have club, unless the plan is to get him because he's younger and Koulibaly is older. I'd say that in a couple of years he'll take over from him and they'll also play with each other. Because the thing is, and I think even me myself have had forgotten this as well. Koulibaly, despite being so good on the left, he's actually right-footed. But because he's so good on his left foot, he's been utilized as a left centre back in the past,
Mm.
and it's given him the freedom to play on the left. But he's also good on the right because that is his preferred foot. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
in that
yeah.
sense, for me, the way I look at it is, if we go for delete, it would mean that the only position he can possibly play is if that's if Chalobah isn't playing, is probably on the
Hmm.
right or in the center if Silva isn't playing as well. So I don't know if really if we go for both of them to fulfill both a similar role, when we also have Chalobah who can play there. If the plan is to go for a right wing back, Reece James can also play right centre back. So for me, I just don't know about that. But I mean, you can never have too much coverage. So I don't know. Maybe the come may still do it, but for me, I think this probably concludes the pursuit of the lit. If we end up waiting for him still, then that'd be fantastic because he has the leadership skill. He has the versatility like Koulibaly has, so it would benefit the team long term. But I just think
Hmm.
that probably it's ended there.
Yeah, and here's the truth. To be truthful about the whole thing, I think we started seeing stuff yesterday that made it clear maybe the club aren't interested. It was all Bayern, 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 and even when Fabrizio reported that the Bayern, was it the Bayern president? So not the president. I forgot who what his name. Hassan was his first name. That he went to Juve, to go open negotiations with them. But Juve himself, they say Juve haven't received any official bids from us and Bayern. And it was at the end of the day, we heard nothing. All we were hearing is how they were trying to negotiate. Please go ahead and continue. Let me try and take care of something quickly.
Yeah. That's the thing. We were seeing reports that for both parties that are supposedly interested, that there's been no bid made for the leaks from Bayern Munich and from Chelsea. It's a case where we're seeing reports, and even the not the Juventus, the Bayern Munich, I think it's the director or president. I'm not really sure of the personnel that was there, but he was asked, and he confirmed that there was a meeting indeed with Juventus, and he's saying that. And someone asked, "Are you optimistic?" And he said that we're always optimistic. So I think in that sense, it is a battle. I think Juventus are hoping for a bidding war in a sense, but I'm not really sure if they're going to be getting that. But I do think that, based on the indications that we were getting, based on the formation, because I remember that, when we were speaking about it, I think it was yesterday as well, I was saying that, this doesn't really define it, or this doesn't necessarily say so, but based on the whole situation and based on the format in terms of how it was being structured and the impression that it was giving of Chelsea, it looked as if they were probably moving on. And we were also hearing that the alternatives were being looked at. Koulibaly was being looked at as an alternative. Upamecano and his name was being thrown in, Kunde and Kimpembe's name was minimally there. So I think in that sense, I know we're hearing that there's a possibility of a third centre back after Ake and Koulibaly. So I think in that sense, it could be one of Kimpembe. If the club are serious about Upamecano, he could probably be considered as well. Will be approached. Kunde, I am not really sure about the possibility of that anymore. I think it could still happen, but if reports should be believed, it's being said that Koulibaly is preferred to Kunde based on his experience. I'm not really sure about that part. I feel like as if that part is probably assumption because I don't really think it would be a case where I'm going to be choosing this player because of experience. Because we do need longevity as well. And
yeah. Here's the thing about Kunde's case. I think we pulled out of after the deal, and I was following it. Let me say, I could say I was stalking him, and he posted a cryptic message.
Which one?
What the message? Kunde posted a cryptic message saying something like, "When things don't go your way, you go for the very best," or something like that. So he's probably now, I think he will be looking to join Barcelona because it doesn't look like. I knew we weren't serious about him because if we were serious, the deal. The wrapped up for that is a month ago actually. But when I started hearing stories about him not being Thomas Tuchel's choice, him being the choice of the board and all that, whether that is the truth or not, that was when I knew. I think we're not serious about that guy. But Ty, thank you again for holding the fort for me while I took care of something. I have to quickly try and catch up with the chart for the Aki's case here. Alima Benedict asks, we're talking about Koulibaly at this point. Try to ask your questions, and if your questions are aligned with the current topic, we will try to address it. Again, try as much as you can to make sure your question is about Koulibaly. But when we move to other topics, we'll talk about Ake, we'll talk about Koulibaly, we'll talk about, so to speak, Kimpembe and all those players. But more importantly, we'll talk about Koulibaly here, and we're following the story as it develops. If there's any new developments that you need to know, we will educate you. Ake is coming to Chelsea. That's what I've heard, but it's not complete yet. Philip Smith, I think we're learning that there are still some stuff to iron out between Chelsea Football Club and Manchester City. And again, although it sounds simple, the process is usually complicated. For instance, if you followed Fabrizio Romano's tweet, even though we're hearing that Koulibaly himself he's landed in London. What's his name? Fabrizio stated clearly that the two clubs are still looking at the documents because the slightest misrepresentation of anything causes a whole lot of problems. So it's not that simple. Even when you hear it's just a few details, it may well take days to complete. Again, let me see what we have here. Is Ake worth that price? Again, we'll talk about that later. I'll highlight it. Make sure whatever you're talking about is aligned with what we're talking about at this point. So I'm going to go to the very bottom so that we see your subsequent comments will be aligned with what we're talking about. And I'd be happy to see that. So it'd be easier and not to be so that we will not be going back and forth. So let's start looking at the story as let me say, should I say, as it unfolded or how it all happened. It started yesterday. It was like maybe it was they were all rumors, but as time progressed, we found out that the club were actually serious, and we learned yesterday also that the deal will be completed today, and I think that's what we're seeing. Here it says Kalidou Koulibaly to Chelsea. Here we go. Full agreement in place for 40 million euros. Fee add-ons completed. Bid accepted. Napoli are checking the documents. That's the part I want you to pay attention. Even if I think he's clear here. Just to let you know, again, there are still a few things to iron out. Checking the documents, then it will be official. Koulibaly will sign. He will sign a deal worth a 10 million net salary per season. First, a centre back assigned. Again, we'll talk about whether he's worth the fee, whether the salary. We'll take it one by one. And the next thing we have here to talk about is Kalidou Koulibaly landing in London. That's about his medical test. Then he will fly to Los Angeles to join the team. Plan 100% confirmed. Then Chelsea will unveil Kalidou Koulibaly as a new signing. Probably they want to do it the same way they did for the case of what's his name again, Raheem Sterling. They
What?
unveiled him in the U.S. Yeah,
Wait,
haven't
what?
they unveiled Raheem Sterling in the U.S. Didn't they?
They unveiled him.
In the U.S.
They did.
Yeah,
When?
didn't it? That's it's official, didn't they? Or maybe
I didn't know
non-unveiled.
that.
Or
Wow.
maybe they put out the statement that we've signed him. Yep, I think that, yeah, he signed. You didn't see that? Were you sleeping, Ty?
No, remember I told you I went out to do something personal.
Okay, so here, if we get through with this again, it says here, we're gonna look at that later. I just give it away. But that's, by the way, let me try and catch up with the chat. So Ty, we'll talk about him, things we have lined up to talk about him. Here we have Philip Smith says Chelsea are going in for striker for Inter Milan. I think they have offered £34 million, and the club are asking for £50 million. What striker exactly are you talking about? Lautaro Martinez or who? If you say Inter Milan, I think that's the only striker I'd say Thomas Tuchel will be interested in. Did you hear anything along that line?
I haven't honestly, and I don't think he is worth that anyways. Martinez.
You don't think so? All right, that's by the way. And here, Arthur Love says, "Good evening, Coachella. I am very happy with the signings and more still coming in. Probably, I mean, we're on fire right now. One more defender. If we can get a delete, then we be great. I don't think we're interested in him. Maybe that's how Thomas, what's his name, Todd Boehly likes to roll. He gets you to think we're no longer interested, and before you know it, boom, he'd be, you'd be talking, we'll be talking how close we are to sign the player, and before you know, we've signed the player. Yes, Kunde tweeted something like that. Yep, I was sure something, cryptic. Probably aimed at Chelsea Football Club. I'd rather Colwell over Aki. We argued that, and I'm with you. I'd rather we keep Colwell over Aki. If we're signing more, if we're signing Kimpembe and we've signed a Koulibaly, I think, to me, it would make sense to have him around. These are two, you could say, one of the two best two centre backs in the world. But that's me. Barca going up for Kunde. I heard that too. I hope they get them. Oh dear, he is pictured in a CFC shirt in the middle of a street, and he was at today's training, so he's not been unveiled. So maybe I used the wrong language, Ty. So you're correct. He's not been unveiled. Okay. Stalin is unveiled at. Is he already? So I don't get me confused. I'm
I don't understand. Has he been unveiled, or is probably
No, I
Tuchel
don't
being
think he's been
sarcastic? I'm
unveiled.
not
So
sure.
probably the unveiling proper will be in a stadium settings where you have a lot of people. So that's unveiled. Let's be specific here. Let's mind the language
Ooh,
we
oh
use.
yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So right now, so he's a Chelsea player. He has the right to take pictures with the shirt. So I think True Blue did put it correctly. I don't, because the unveiling actually will involve showing pictures, some videos. You know how Chelsea does it to introduce him or something like that. I don't think that has happened. So Chelsea announced a Starling on the website, but that's still not unveiling. Announcement is just that it's official. So again, sorry, I think I used, I admit I used the wrong language. So that's causing a lot of problems. Chelsea going in for Kimpembe, negotiating, ongoing. And I think they're just not far, the two clubs aren't far off. Just some millions, again, is a difference. Big up to the panel. Chama Yosef, how are you doing today? I wholeheartedly believe you're doing well. Let us know. Again, I say I'm not sure what he wrote there. Is that English? And then CMC says, "Are you guys happy with our DM situation?" No, I'm not. We
Nope, we
need,
don't have any.
we need a defined DM because what we have players who are, you could argue, hybrid. Not really box to box players, and we have a register also. Although Jorginho is able to read games, and whenever he's in the right position, if it doesn't involve him running after the player and stopping them from doing damage in our area, he is sometimes oppositions out muscle him. He's not traditionally a DM. He's a register, but he's been able to do an okay job in that role. But we need a defined DM. Ty, your thoughts on this comment here? Ty, are you there? Have I lost you? Again, I can't hear Ty. Maybe he's muted himself, or maybe he's having a connection issue. So, like I said, Chris, again, I got lost. We got linked. We were linked to Sangare. We were linked to Chomeni. We're also linked to Bissouma, who joined our arch rivals Tottenham. So those things, I'm not sure how serious we were. Those things we heard then may have been just rumors. But as time progressed, it just seemed as if we weren't serious, or maybe we're not looking to get a DM, or maybe there's a chance Thomas Tuchel knows that what's his name, Itan Ampadu, is capable of fulfilling that role, or maybe there are other players in the team whom he believes are capable of fulfilling the role. So that's why we're not serious. Or there's a chance also we will still see Declan Rice at Chelsea Football Club this season, because I'm hearing he's a player that Thomas Tuchel admires so much, but you never say never. So we'll see what happens. And Chama Yosef here says that just Viola, we're finally smiling. And like about, yep, we're smiling. And maybe where's Rodrigo looking for him? Maybe he gives up on driving the panic bus because he admits he's the driver for the panic bus of Chelsea fan base. But that's, by the way, again, we're smiling and we're happy. And the floodgate, has been swung open. And keep your eyes open because the signings are going to be coming in left and right. Chelsea fifth stand up crashed just after Sterling was announced. Yeah, probably people, rushing into the app to get information, pictures and all that. It's not like it's anything different, but it happens like that in such situations. KK, Kalidou Koulibaly, our captain, we are living the baddest and sad moments of our last 10 years. Okay, you are a Napoli fan because look at Diego Maradona's picture as your DM. Again, your loss is our gain. And again, I hope you see it like that. Hey, Choma, it says again, I hope he is going to win a Champions League with Chelsea Football Club. That shows that you indeed do like the player. Some players, when players leave them like this, they become some fans. When players such as Kalidou Koulibaly leave their club, they turn against them. They become bitter, start calling them names and all that. But I am amazed by the sort of love he's getting even from the manager, the owners. You guys truly do love him. So thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for wishing he wins the Champions League at Chelsea. And I want to see that happen myself. I'd go for either Kimpembe or Aki, and at least a natural right back to cover James, bearing in mind Kennedy or Emerson could cover for Chile. It's looking like those two players are going to stay, but you don't know what's going to happen until the transfer window shuts, because we're still going to have some outgoings and some incomings. And it's important that some players, we saw players from some departments before we're able to bring in some. Let's see what happened. Chama Yosef says, I danced to the Raheem's intro video. Yep. I think it warrants us to dance. If you want to dance and celebrate it, go ahead, do so, because it's big news. A lot of us have been concerned. Even my friend and Bobby, who also does come onto the panel here every now and then, he was so concerned that he started talking about Chelsea being in a relegation fight and all that. But I was never concerned one bit. Like I said, I only got mad when I learned that it's maybe we're forfeiting our interest on Matisse de Ligt. I hope, but we'll see what happens. I think Chelsea will leave it until the end of the window, then go in for Rice. That may well be the case. There's a chance we start hearing something that involves them getting Amanda Broyer from us, and we getting Declan Rice from them. I hope that doesn't happen. But again, it all comes down to what Thomas Tuchel wants. It's not up to me. Right now, we have 132 people watching, and we have 52 likes. Please, if you haven't, take a second to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you very much. I cannot thank you guys enough. Again, you guys are absolute legends. He will win the Champions League. I hope so. I am doing fine. Okay, this is just saying hello to Chalma. We are not using too much academy players, just Gallagher and Gilmore. There's a chance we can't even. We don't know how many of them will remain at the club. We know quite a lot of them will leave, but how many will be left? You could argue the Gallagher most definitely, but it's not a guarantee. Maybe who else? I just can't say until I see it happen. That's how I want to put it. Gallagher, Gilmore, etc. I can Gallagher stays, but we'll see what happens. Gilmore, I'm not sure. Given that I know he alone, Gilmore alone, couldn't carry Norwich City. And then he's a good player. We know that, but the question is, how many good players do they have there at Norwich City? May have those things. May have those things clearly didn't help matters. And I wondered why we let him go on loan to that club in the first place. I'm not happy about that. Tribune says Rice is staying one more season, believed to have a gentleman agreement. He cannot leave next season. Wow. Thank you for that. Again, let's see what happens. Kalidou is a pure joy for eyes. See him play. This guy is born captain. Again, he's a leader, a born leader. He's going to destroy Premier League. Yep. He moved to Chelsea just because we are not structured to win it. We love Kalidou Koulibaly. It's like a bro. Again, I believe me, I've seen enough to know that he's really loved Naples. That's how you pronounce the city. Now we have to go for Kimpembe. Then we stick with our academy graduates, the likes of Ampadu and Cowell. Here's the thing. In the case of Ampadu, I think we've talked about it here. I wanted him. I wanted the team he played for in the Championship, Huddersfield. I wanted them to make it to the Premier League because if they did, it would have been very easy to convince him. Okay, stay with them, and he'd still be high and confident. There'd still be that bond in that team. Yeah, I'm coming. I'll let you come in a bit. Then it'd be easy for him to stay with them and play one more season with them in the Premier League, and then be ready for Chelsea. Guys, let's go. Yeah, let the likes keep going up. We have 55 likes now, while we'll have 136 people watching. CMC says Gallagher, Gilmore, Ampadu, Broya, can they fill the gaps? I think these players are good enough. But the question is, what does the manager want? So, and again, what do the players themselves want? We have to ask that question. Because like I said there, Chris, we've talked about how Gallagher, I think one of them was Levi. I think Levi Cowell. I say they're not going to come back to Chelsea, to become big part players. They'd rather go elsewhere permanently. And if you remember, Gallagher is already an English international, which means I think it's a True Blue who's argued. He argued that Gallagher isn't going to the World Cup. And my argument is, but the player himself, since he's been called up to England on 2 occasions or so, believes he's going to go to the World Cup. If you ask me, there's no way he'd be as good as he is. He's been called up twice, and you think he won't believe deep down that he can make it to the World Cup. He believes that if he gets a chance at Chelsea, or if he gets to play more often, that's a chance he convinces the manager to take him to the World Cup. So that's my argument on that one. Let me see what we have here. I just pray that our management will look into our academy as well as they do. We have enough DMs between the first team and the Lone Army and the academy. Chelsea, could you please name them so we see the players you're talking about? Says you will see him 40 meters come back in defense. He can gain 2-3 meters to everyone. You can now play with this defense line, and this is a big advantage. Yep, it is indeed. And how about nice to see you here? The kind of defender Koulibaly is today, probably the lead will never be. Again, that's your argument. But that's, by the way, Gallagher was called up to be checked by Southgate. Yep, but that's enough to even make him feel like, okay, if I play enough games and do well enough, I may well go to the World Cup. Here's one thing. I love to hear this guy talk about Koulibaly. Here's one thing I want to add to what he said already. Koulibaly, his intelligence is what marvels me. I saw a video that's making rounds on Twitter where he pushed his teammate into position to defend. Even though it was funny, but that is pure intelligence. He knew immediately he's far away from that his teammate. If he tries to go cover that space, there will be space where he is, and that opposition player may well come in through that area. So what he did was just simple. It was hilarious. It was funny, but it's just common sense. That shows you how intelligent he is. He pushed his teammate into position to defend. Now, Dills, I'll let you come in your thoughts. What you wanted to say something.
Big up, coach.
Yeah, big up to you too, brother. Nice to have you on the panel. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I just went out earlier. I went out earlier because I had to go do some stuff.
No worries,
really.
no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. You know, you're not obliged, to come onto the panel. But go ahead, tell me how you're feeling about this whole thing you're hearing, or if you have any other thing you want to talk about. You go ahead.
I'm excited. I'm excited about Koulibaly coming in. We've been hearing he doesn't take nonsense at the back, so I feel that if we're gonna play a back four, a back three, it will work. Tuchel, you already know Tuchel. He loves to change his formation. It's just a matter of time that we're getting adapting to what Tuchel wants now. Yeah, and I feel that the Kempembe links and the Ake links, it's all from Tuchel. I believe so. I believe every signing that we're getting is from Tuchel. Believe that. Well, now Koulibaly, I feel that it will take him not that long to adapt to the Premier League because you already know who Mendy. They're from the same country, and maybe his adaptation will take a little bit of time. But you know, coach, it would obviously with Mendy being there, it would like fix him in, suiting him more. You know what I'm saying? So
again, here's the thing quickly, if you don't mind. I don't think it would take him time to adapt. I think he's good enough. And then again, he's an intelligent player. Koulibaly, yes, he's a big man. You know, he's built. He's big. But here's the thing: his intelligence. You could argue is his most important asset. Not his power, not his pace. And you need to see that video that I talked about. Honestly. But quickly again, let me catch up with the chat so we're not far too behind. Yes, Just Viola, I'm happy you saw that video yourself. Again, I couldn't believe it. Because that's intelligence at its peak. The way he did that, it was funny, but still, it got the job done. Again, I'm very happy. Good evening, Justin Wiley. Nice to see you here, brother. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Where is Nick Blue? Again, we had a bit of an issue here, and I don't want to talk about it here. It's not something you asking the question. Probably, did he tell you anything? If you tell you anything, okay. If you want to talk about it, we'll talk privately. I don't want to talk about it here. Says Moshe Sabet, my brother from the Madiba land, says we need at least 2 more defenders, and we will be set. But young defenders this time, since experienced ones are already with us. Again, the truth is balance is key. Balance is key. Yes, we need, we'll build, even for building for the future, we need a mix of youth and experience to have a perfect defensive lineup. And you could argue we have 2 of the most experienced defenders in the world. That's when you talk about the Chiellinis and Bonucci's, these 2 guys mix, and Thiago Silva. Then we have the 2 of them. We have Thiago Silva and just 1 second. Thiago Silva and Kalidou Koulibaly, 2 great, intelligent defenders. Go ahead. You wanted to say something, Dios.
What's your thoughts on Levi Colwell?
Let's talk about him since you raised that. You raised the topic now. Here's the thing. If you were following his story since he returned from Huddersfield, he's again. If we're to believe what we saw out there, he wanted to leave. Not immediately. He wanted to leave if it's not guaranteed the playing time. Or something similar. I'm not sure. I did not speak with Levi Colwell. I'm just basing my thoughts and my argument based on what I see out there. But you could argue that's a fact of the truth. Because here's what I've always argued. The issue with the club and the academy players we have is that we're like one of the best schools in a particular community. That when you have graduates from that particular community, you see employees from companies and employers from companies around that in that community coming up for those graduates. So that's how the Chelsea Academy, that's how we are to the face of other clubs, in the eyes of other clubs, because especially those that are already on loan, proving that they can do it. There are no shortage of buyers. There are no shortage of clubs willing to pay the money to take them on a permanent from Chelsea Football Club. And also, you must remember now, there are limits to the number of players you can loan out, but I don't think that factor comes in now. But hear me out now. My point is, Levi Colwill, he knows that there are no shortage of clubs willing to sign him. He knows that. Same thing as Armando Broja. That was why even before those guys returned on loan, we were arguing here, they would want to leave. Because it doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense if for them to come stay at the club and get to play only 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, or sometimes cup games, when they can actually go to some other Premier League and get to play week in, week out. So again, I know there are already people on Twitter, just cursing out Thomas Tuchel. Some say, I hate him. I liked him, but now I hate him. I'm coming. Let me come now. He's just like Jose Mourinho, a world-class manager, but no, he disregards youth and all that nonsense, forgetting that there's a chance that Levi Colwill himself may have asked to leave. But that's, by the way, we have 132 people watching, and right now we have 65 likes. We're getting close to 100 likes. Let's try to get it to 100 likes as soon as possible. So thank you. Dill's coming with what you wanted to say.
What I wanted to say is, with Levi Colwill, what I don't understand is that before after the season, we heard that Tuchel's gonna be progressing Levi Colwill, Broja, and Gallagher in the preseason. So I don't know why we're hearing now. It's all of a sudden now, from Fabrizio that about leaving him leaving. So which I don't understand, that the preseason hasn't even started yet, and this is my argument. Is it because Tuchel believes that Levi Colwill is saying something to the board, or what's the issue? That's what I want to. That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, Ty, your input on the case of Levi Colwill. Your thoughts? Do you blame the manager? Because we must look at things objectively here and not just see it from one side and come to the conclusions that, well, Tuchel doesn't want to keep him. If you remember the case of Tino Livramento, after he left, all Chelsea fans were blaming the manager. And then we heard from the manager also that the club wanted to keep him, but he wanted to leave because of game time. So, Ty, your thoughts?
Honestly, Levi Colwill, I think I've said this in the past when we were speaking about the defense. And for me, I've said that Levi Colwill, I think he has the right attitude for the club, but at the same time, he has the wrong attitude because, yes, he looks like in the future he may become a good defender, and no matter where he goes or no matter where he is. But I mean, if he believes that he's gonna just walk into the team or he's gonna be getting game after game after game, that's the wrong attitude. No, that's just assuming things. But I think the indication and with the reports being that we're going after 3 centre backs, it could possibly give him the impression that, oh, this manager doesn't think that my time has come, or he doesn't think that I'm supposed to be in his team right now, and maybe he'll look at his situation and say that, oh, I may need to go somewhere, whether that's permanently or temporarily, and probably prove myself that if you give me a chance, or if I get the game time that I think I deserve, which in that sense is probably the wrong idea or the wrong thinking. Yeah. I think maybe he may say that I should be getting game time, I should be playing games, and people look at the situation of Malang Sarr and say that, what do I have to do to get game time when Malang Sarr hasn't really been impressive. People use those type of things and say that why is Malang Sarr in the squad and Levi Cole isn't. The thing is, and I said this the last time as well. Levi Cole, like, as much as I think he has the right attitude, I think at the same time he's not obligated to play for the club. There's no certainty. There's no assurance he's going to be walking to the team just because he's a youth player. Yes, the academy was developed for one of the main reasons that there's a pathway for certain players to get into a club. I know at Chelsea we have this reputation of developing players but not keeping a lot of them, and that's fine. We're not the only one who do that. You have some, even though the setup is different. Southampton, yes, they sign other players from other teams after they got a couple of development in them, like when you're 15 or something like that. But they don't really keep them. They sold them. Gareth Bale was there for a while. Theo Walcott was there as well. Luke Shaw, players like that were there. But at the same time, and even what's his name? The guy who's at the club, so James Ward-Prowse, players like that were there as well. So I think people need to understand this. And yes, I can understand this, that maybe you're looking at the situation of Malang Sarr and saying that how is Malang Sarr being trusted, or how is Malang Sarr being in it? At the same time, I do think Malang Sarr may get a loan, so I think there's a possibility of that. But for me, I've also said this. Why is the impression? Why are Chelsea fans so hypocritical? They always say back the manager and or give Tuchel his players. And when Tuchel wants his players, they complain. They say that, oh, what's gonna happen? I'm unhappy with him. He doesn't value the use. I mean, come on, man. You need to pick one. Is it a situation where back the manager, back the head coach until it's somewhere that you want to see being in the club or somebody signed for the club, or is it back the manager with the players that he wants? And yes, I can understand with people saying that yes, he has a naive thinking per se about wanting quick fixes. Because in my opinion, I think he wants quick fixes. I think he wants players who are ready and he wants them in the now so that he can start, closing the gap, as he likes to say, between Man City and Liverpool. So I think in that sense, yes, maybe it seems naive on his part to only want, players who are experienced, players who've been in the top level of football for years.
Here's something I want to ask you quickly, Ty, while you're still at it. How do we know? How do you come to the conclusions? Okay, you say it may be, but I don't think that's the case. You must, if you follow Levi Cole long enough to be hearing the stories, he doesn't want to come and be a bit part play. He want to be, straight up, the big guy or the starter, if you want to phrase it that way. You have to consider those things. But go ahead with what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's an assumption, but based on the situation, if it's a case where he's looking at the situation and saying that is there a pathway for me to come to this team? I mean, if he wants to stay at the club, he can do it. Even though I think for example, Ian Maddison is close to a loan move to Burnley. There was a negotiation taking place between Chelsea and I don't remember what team it was, to sign him, for him to go there and permanently, and then they rejected that move. So if it's a case where Levi Cole, says that I don't want to go on loan, I want to be in this team, I want to participate, then maybe I can say, yeah, it's not on him, it's on the manager that wants him to go on loan or probably doesn't want it in his team. Then I can say that. But right now, it's not. If it's a case where he's going on loan, maybe it's the manager. But at the same time, it could quite easily be that Levi Cole is saying, I need to be guaranteed game time. I want to be improving. I want to develop my game, not only by being our own experienced players, but also getting the game time, because that's the best way I can learn, by making mistakes on the pitch, by getting the game time that I think I need to get in order for me to actually develop and to learn. Then that is a strong possibility. I think there's always two sides to this. And I mean, you use the example of Lamptey. There's underlying issues surrounding that as well. there was a situation where his contract was going to expire soon. They wanted to extend, but they only wanted to extend, or they actually approached him after the Arsenal game where he came on. I think he came on for Emerson in that game, and he was playing, and he actually did well. I think he nearly got an assist as well in that game, and then he was impressive, and people liked him. Or probably it was Tomori, I don't remember who it was, but I think there was a situation where he came on, he was playing good, and Lampard even wanted to keep him. But what he said out of his own words, there's an interview proof of him saying it. So it's not like hearsay where you're hearing reporters saying it. That he when he looks at the situation of Aspie and James, he's considering to himself, will I be getting game time here? So he decided to go to Brighton. It's the same thing with Tino Livramento. He wanted more game time. He looked at the situation. James is ahead of him, Aspie. So I think in this situation, it could be quite similar for Levi Cowell. You may say that they're going for Ake. Ake plays on the left side. Koulibaly can play on the left side. The Leeds, although that may not happen, plays on the left side as well in some cases. So if you go for that, Kimpembe, he can also play on that left side. So there's a situation where when he looks on his his situation per se, he'll say that, will I be getting a pathway into the team? Will they make space for me? Will there be a way that I can get into this team? Because if you have three centre backs that are possibly able to be used on that left side, clearly that's sending a message that Levi Cowell, you're a good player, but right now I need these players who can actually benefit me, who can get me what I want at this moment. So that in a sense is it. But for me, and I mean, I'm seeing True Blue say, I'm seeing other people say, I will not sell Levi Cowell. But at the same time, it's not down to me. It's not down to the manager. It's not down to the club. It's down to Levi Cowell. If they don't want to sell him and he wants to leave permanently, I'm not sure. I don't think the club are going to push him or say don't leave. Yeah. I don't torture him to stay. We're not players to stay.
Yeah. Yeah, just quickly, I'm going to try and catch up with the chat, and again, we'll bring it back to Koulibaly because this is the man we're talking about. Let's complete the Koulibaly topic. I want to talk about how he fits into the team, how he's a rival, what good he would do for Edouard Mendy and vice versa, so that we get that one done. It's just me trying to read what we have in the chat, but every now and then we get distracted because people have something that they want to know about. So if you're watching right now, we have 124 people watching, and we have 76 likes. Let's shoot at least for 150 likes before the show ends. So if you haven't, please do take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We need at least 2 defenders, and we will be set. But young defenders this time, since experience was, I think I've read that before. I have seen Koulibaly playing so many times. He is a very smart in reading the game, and he is a leader indeed. Again, I'm going to that tweet with that video by ESPN. Again, I haven't been able to get it out of my head. That shows you how intelligent he is as a player, pushing his teammates into position. That was funny, but it was effective. And again, it takes good thinking and quick thinking individual to be able, to facilitate such. I have to be honest with you. As True Blue, thank you again, Starling Inside. Says Koulibaly became Koulibaly under Mauricio Sarri, a real master of defense, Magister Yoda of defense. Again, the method, you could argue that Mauricio Sarri, he uses drones to train his defenders. I recall that quite well. Again, you're very right. And by the way, Arturna, 10 out of 10, how do I pronounce your name? Please do subscribe to the channel and tell more people about it, because we'll be launching a sister channel in about 3 weeks, or let's say at most a month. The branding process is almost complete, and I've given Ty a sneak peek of what's going on, and I believe he likes it. Again, thank you very much for that. Says if Tuchel wants a 3 at the back, wants a 3 center halves, 3 center half signings, it's not to play for the back. That's no guarantee that's the case. Maybe if you take some time to look at the profile of players he wants to bring in, that may well be a giveaway of how he wants to approach the game this coming season, whether he wants to mix it up or whether he wants to stick with the 4 at the back, 3 at the back system. but we don't know. I am doing great, Just Viola. Okay, just saying hi to Just Viola alone. Kimpembe to Chelsea is already on the move. I think it's one, maybe by tomorrow, we'll start to hear that he's in London for his medical or so, because we're serious about him. But I'm still not happy that we're abandoning the pursuit of the late, except if Boehly is just trying, not to show his hands, since he's seen the Bayern are also interested in the player. He let them show their hands, and then he moves in and gets the player because he's one for the future. From now to the now, he's one for now, and also the future because he's matured in terms of the way he plays the game. But that's, by the way, as he's talking to True Blue here, says just imagine that Mbappe was humiliated by Koulibaly. His speed is recovering backwards is unique. He's a very, very unique player indeed. I must say that. Kronostan says people were thinking that Chelsea are finished under an American owner when in fact it could well end up a best American owner. And time will tell. Maybe even eclipse Roman. He can do better than Roman. Yes, he's a smart man. There are things that Roman did that I hope he does differently. One of which being, not giving managers enough time. That approach worked for Roman Abramovich. But what that approach also, if you look at under Roman Abramovich, we had success. But our success came in patches. Here and there, here and there, here and there. We dominate this year, and then the next 2 years, in most cases, we struggle. So if he changes that, that's a chance. If he approaches it in a way that, we have a manager, give the manager time, implement the way you want to approach the game. If the manager does well, let him keep his job. But on occasions, we've seen Roman fire managers who did well. Again, I don't want to get into that argument, but you get my point here. So there are things I want him to do differently. I don't want to ever see a situation where we see that our players have power over the manager. I don't want to see that happen again at Chelsea Football Club. But that's, by the way, says the one thing I would worry about when it comes to Koulibaly is his pace. I have watched him with Napoli and Senegal. I don't know if he's a Premier League already. Here's the thing, Angayere, this argument, I think it was declared, my friend, we argued that also. Koulibaly's greatest strength isn't pace, it's his energy and it's intelligence, so to speak. That's what makes him special. The same thing is what makes Thiago Silva special. Even you'd have players that facing up against Thiago Silva. Some of you could argue are some of the quickest in the league. But why is Thiago Silva able to deal with them effectively and not have an issue? Thiago Silva is so intelligent that is on the field of play that you'd never get a chance to race against him, let alone outpace him. He reads the game so well, and he's played against all sorts of players. He's played with all sorts of players that before you make that move, he anticipates. He'd be able to anticipate what you want to do, be in the right place at the right time, and also be able to stop you from, executing your plans on the pitch. That's what makes him special, not his pace. And the same thing is what makes that intelligence, is what makes Koulibaly a special player, not pace, not power, not his build. He's a powerful player. He's powerfully built, but his strength lies mainly on his ability to read the game and his intelligence overall. So I'm not concerned about his pace. I still do think he will do well. But that's, by the way, Moshe Sabeta says captaincy should be given to Silva. It's about time. Mount, our future captain. Again, you need a captain that should be able to communicate with his teammates effectively with the language they understand quite well. And I'm hearing Thiago Silva, he isn't fluent in English. So again, communication is important. So I don't think he gets it. And I think he himself, I think he'd be smart enough to say that is to not take it. I advocate for someone else who speaks English fluently to take it, because on the pitch, you need to be able, to talk with your teammates in a language they will understand, and not, again, that's my argument. I get your argument too. For me, having Silva, Koulibaly, Aki, Chalobah, Caldwell, enough defenders for the back four. Aki can also cover at left back. Ty, let's talk about the signing of Koulibaly. See how he puts it there. Do you think that's enough?
Sorry, what was that last
If
part?
you see what he has on the screen, he says, for him, not me, having Silva, Koulibaly, Ake, Chalobah, Caldwell is enough. Do you think so?
No, it isn't.
Hey, can you tell us why?
Because it seems that people are forgetting that there's going to be a World Cup year. Rather, this is a World Cup year, and considering Silva, correct me if I'm wrong. If he's not playing for Brazil again, then I don't know. But in that sense, that is somebody that we never know could happen. Koulibaly, I don't know if Koulibaly. Yeah, I think Senegal qualified, or did they? Or was it Egypt?
I don't remember, but I think they're going to. If you're in the chat, let us know if Senegal, if they're going to the World Cup. Let me just go ahead, keep talking. I'll check it for you.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of situations where Covell probably isn't really at risk in that sense in terms of if he's a World Cup year. I'm not sure if he's. I don't think he's been called up for England, and I think he's young, so I don't think they would have probably called him up yet if they're going to. So I think having Chalobah and Covell alone, that isn't smart. So Silva and that right in itself is 5. And I mean, yeah, so somebody said that Senegal qualified. So Koulibaly could be playing for Senegal. Injuries happen, fatigue creeps in, and yes, you'll get 2 weeks after the World Cup ends. But at the same time, you need rotational players. You need squad depth, and people need to understand that there is a very high chance that Koulibaly may struggle in the beginning because he's going to be coming to a new league. The league is different. The aggression is different. Ake could come in, perform good, something happens to him because he's had his little injury niggles in the past. He's not an injury-free player. He's had little niggles. So I think in that sense, having Ake, who has had injury scares in the past, that is a big risk to take. I mean, it's a situation where, like I said before, I think Tuchel wants quick fixes, and that is why I think he's going for 3 centre backs. Yes, you have Chalobah still there, and Levi Cole is someone I think people are concerned about, and we cannot forget about Ampadu as well, who, man, there's a lot of centre backs that we have that look like they have great potential, but I also think there's a plan for Ampadu as a CDM, so maybe that resolves itself. And that adds versatility as well to the team. But for me, I don't think having only 5, because although there's reports saying that Tuchel wants to use Tuchel's targeting players that would allow him to play a back 4, I don't think he's just gonna abandon the back 3 like that.
I think to him, he think it's been that's the back 3 formation have been effective for him in most cases.
Yeah, and that is why. But you can also see there's a shared passion to play a back 4. But I don't think it's going to be a case where it's just going to completely banish the back 3 formation, because the back 3 formation worked defensively. It helped. The only issue that has really been caused is that in the attack you don't have that consistency, or the attack or the place you can play in the attack is limited because of the double midfield, an additional centre back being in the system. So that limits how many AMs or whatever, or wingers or whatever you want to use in that sense. So I think in that sense, it's something that I think Tuchel, if he continues with a back 3 for a while, then integrates a back 4 into the picture, and you use it simultaneously, he's gonna need more than 5, because yes, people use the situation and say that the reason why we had to overplay some players is because Christensen had his little issues where he was pulled out of the squad, but we also have had injuries in the past that caused it. I mean, right now the virus is still around. I mean, it's and plus there's other ailments that can pop up as well. So I think people need to understand that we have older players and another older players coming in. Fatigue creeps in. Chalobah can play games. Yes, that's true. You do have Ake who's coming in as well, so he plays. But you also need to be able to rotate. And I mean, we're not going to be playing our best 11 every game. We're going to have to, because you can't play everybody every time. That is why I think we need to remember that there's a 5 sub. Yes, people say that 5 subs doesn't really mean anything because sometimes Tuchel does use all 5, not all 3. But I think 5 means that he can use 3, and then if there's anything that he wants to change, he has 2 of the additional ones to make. So I think in that sense, it's not something where having only 5, although you only play 2 centre backs and then maybe another one. Even Ake could play as a left back. It means that you do need that versatility and you need that depth. But I just think that having only and you see someone is even saying that Koulibaly was fatigued in the African Cup of Nations. So you do need that depth because you just there's a lot of uncertainty, and the World Cup is going to have more aggression than the Cup of Nations. And I'm not trying to downplay it because it's entertaining and it's a passion filled competition. But the World Cup has a lot of aggression. You're playing against different countries that have different playing style, different aggression, different passion in that sense. So you do need that depth. So I just think that although there's a situation where we supposedly have 5 centre backs for a back 4, I don't think we're just going to abandon the back 3 just like that because it's worked defensively. And Tuchel loves to have a defensive strong or a defensive stable team because I do share that narrative that you can score as much goals as you want, but if you can't defend, it doesn't make any sense because you just draw each game.
Again, Ty, thank you very much for that detailed answer to that question. Again, I'm going to catch up with the chat and we go straight into the Koulibaly talk. Why not sell or loan Sarr and keep Colwell? Again, it's not that simple. Maybe the manager prefers a Sarr. If for some reason we don't know, and then again, there's no way to tell. And here, talking to Chronostar, Dan, again, love the idea that he's talking with somebody there. Koulibaly is in London. Chuku Wolenze, nice to see you here, brother. Again, we have 124 people watching, and we have 87 likes. We need just 10 more to get to 100 likes. So thank you. And like I've always told you, you don't have to donate your hard-earned money to the channel. You watching the video, you being part of the conversation, you watching even when you're not commenting, those things alone do go a long way. So please, if you haven't, take a second to like the video and also share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Or we could sell Levi Colwell 2 years, activate a buyback clause. Again, we could replace Thiago Silva in a year or two. Again, here's my thoughts about Thiago Silva. He's a player I'd like to really stay at the club beyond his playing career, maybe in the capacity of a player coach or as one of the coaching staff. I'd like to see that happen because he has the pedigree, to help, inculcate that winning mentality in the younger players in the team. So that's why I really would want him to stay. Kronostan says, again, he's talking to somebody. I do respect Roman all the way. Again, yeah, most people, when you talk about, let me ask people this question. If you don't like us to hear people talk about someone else doing better than Roman Abramovich, do you want us to move forward or do you want us to go backwards? That's the question I want to ask you. I love Roman Abramovich, and I know we will never in a zillion years get another owner who will not prioritize profits over the success of the club. Again, I'm not saying Todd Boehly is like that, but Todd Boehly, no matter how you see it, he's a businessman, and he's coming with his own. He owns the club with a consortium. It's not just him. No matter how you see it, they look to take profits in the future. But in Roman's case, it was never about profit. He was a fan of first of all before he became an owner. But that's, by the way, again, you don't start seeing it as if people don't like Roman Abramovich because they want the current owner to do better. And something else I wanted to say when Kronos Dan, when he made that delicious comment, I think it was Dan also. When you talk about American owners being bad, you have to pay attention to what has really happened at Manchester United. It wasn't that they haven't spent; they've spent $1 billion plus. It's just that they're spending, but they're not solving the problems they have at the club. So in the end, the players they signed hasn't helped them to improve or become better than they were before or something like that. But that's, by the way, Eric Turner says Napoli defense is the last that's the last season was the best defense of Serie A in all the world. That Italian defense is the best. This is with Koulibaly, no more words. You got it. Yeah, I understand that he's a player I like so much. Akronistan, like what Todd Boehly is doing, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. That I can agree with. Let's see what happens in the future. Not right now. Napoli fans are protesting as Koulibaly flies in for London Medical again, but they love him. They love him so much. I think they will blame the owner for letting him go, but I think it makes sense for them to let him go right now because it's clear the player wants to leave the club. And if you force him to stay, he'd run down his contract and leave on a free, which again, it makes you look even more stupid. Again, says Todd Boehly, obviously, Romana was insanely great. My hopes for new owners were very low. I am not actually encouraged about the future. Very impressed with that dude. Plus, same casual style again. Yeah, same casual style. That's one thing he has in common with Roman. But you could say Roman ain't always that casual if you pay attention. But I get your argument. I'm gonna score. Let's see. If people think Caldwell's attitude is wrong, that's exactly what De Bruyne did. A brilliant point right there. And I wouldn't call it an attitude. It's a player that understands how good they are, and they want it now. So I wouldn't blame them that much. I really want our graduates at Chelsea, but I don't understand how many want to start games for Chelsea right now. That's the truth. I'd rather keep Caldwell than Malang Sarr. And again, tell me the truth, Kronostan. Are you not being biased to a certain measure? Are you not deciding to take Caldwell because he's an academy product? Because we all Chelsea fans, we are like that, and that's just the truth. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom now. We're going to switch a topic. Ty, I'm going to start with you again. Ty, are you still there?
Yeah, I am.
So Ty, let's talk about it specifically. How really does Koulibaly fit into our team? What position? I know he can play on the left. He can play in the middle also. He can lead the back three in the back four also. He's comfortable playing there. But what would you say? What role do you think we're getting him to fulfill for us? Or overall, how do you think he fits into our team? And what do you like the most about him as a player?
Sorry, my Wi-Fi kicked out. I didn't hear that last word.
That's how well do you think he fits into our style of play? Again, everything let us know. Tell us where you think he fits into the team.
What player are you speaking about in particular?
Koulibaly.
Crap.
No worries.
Koulibaly, I think, because of the versatility that he has, I think mostly it could be a case where we will use him on that left side. Like I said before, he can play on the right because that is his preferred foot. But because of how good he's been using his left foot, he's been utilized on the left side of a back four whenever we do play that. And it's a case where he's done well there. He has pushed defenders that play alongside them, literally and figuratively, to do tasks. So I think in that sense, it's a situation where he could be playing on that left side initially, to add more experience, on that side, because that is the side where Chilwell will be playing on. And although Chilwell does have a defensive side of him and he's good defensively coming back and doing everything as well, it never hurts to have a little partnership there, because he's good with the ball at his feet. He's good with the ball. And I mean, if we keep up with what we saw Rudiger doing, playing as like a second fullback, he's always further forward. And in all fairness, the back three last season and whenever even in the initial stages of Tuchel, we saw how high they were playing, trying to win the ball closer to the center circle, trying to create from closer range. So I think in that sense, it's a case where we could see him being used as a second fullback, you know, and that in itself can transition itself into a 4-4-2 in game if we do, obviously if we use 3-5-2 and something close to that. So I do think that, you know, he could be utilized as a second fullback, and maybe in a sense it could benefit the team because we saw Rudiger pushing himself forward and, you know, trying to work alongside Will at the time, or for most of the season it was Alonso. And, you know, even when we were trying and experimenting with Malang Sarr and things like that, we would see that, you know, Rudiger would push himself forward, trying to create as well. So I think having Chilwell and Koulibaly could be beneficial because on that left side you have two defenders who can actually defend well and can also add a lot to the offense.
Yep, I agree with Howard here that who says I do think that Milan will accept only cash for Leon, and that's just the truth again. But we'll see what happens. But if they really want to secure the signature for Hakim Ziyech, they would say, okay, how do you want us to structure the deal? Because Chelsea may well say, okay, you want this player, let's find common ground. So you take him, we add cash to it, and we take the other player. But that's, by the way, again, I want to say thank you. Thank you already for 95 likes, which means we're just 5 off 100 likes. We're shooting for 150 by the end of the show. Again, hi, you, says Safio. I hope you're doing well. Omatanga Nyantaki says, so are we going to sell whom? Who are you talking about? Again, let me know who you're talking. I start to say it, but in Italy, the news had for you, they say that Rafael Leon is going to join Chelsea too. They are at a final steps. Wow. That sounds serious. Ty, your thoughts?
News are bad. It's going to join. What?
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm surprised too. I have to
be
honest.
Yeah. No. If this is true, then how can he be?
Because he's saying, listen, 10 at 10. I think he's from Italy, or maybe he watched the Italian. He's following the Italian news media. It sounds if that's the case, I'm gonna be really. I will be very happy, man. Again, I will not lie to you. That's just some more brilliant news because I think it's not how quickly we're moving now. Let's hope. I hope that's the case. But let me catch up with the chat fully. Players are being used as a make weight deal. It's but usually it is very complicated because there's a chance the selling club will feel like, okay, the one of the clubs will feel like their player is more valuable than yours. Then how are you going to come to conclusions? Okay, we agree this player is what this, and the other one is what this. Again, it makes it the whole thing complicated. Leon, I forgot how I was to pronounce it. To Chelsea, we may well see that happen. Really trying not to get hopes up. You guys know this new ownership group will have lots of mistakes at the beginning. Hopefully they learn fast. And from what I've seen so far, I am encouraged. Here's the thing, Todd Boehly, like I've argued before, although he's doing something I think I wouldn't like at the end, the fact that we're hearing we're forfeiting the pursuit of delete, I've said that like a million times in this particular show. Now, that's because I'm not happy. Here's the thing. He didn't become a millionaire by being dumb. He's a smart guy. Like I told, who was it? I think he was IBZ. I told him there's a chance he's hired expatriates to help him, research players. And Thomas Tuchel, we also heard he does a lot of research on his own, trust, again, data. Am I correct, Ty? So that's why I have argued. Yeah, so I don't think he'd been making so many mistakes. I think he'd hire expatriates, pay them well to help me get this, and I want to get it correctly because I don't know how this is done. Again, that's a chance that's the case, but we don't know. I don't think he'd make the silly mistake of thinking it's just just get it done on its own. I think he's a smart guy, but good thinking right there. Yeah, because they will make mistakes. And I think you could argue the first mistakes they made, possibly, that's the first mistake they made was to let Marina and Petr Cech leave. Some will argue otherwise, but we'll see what happens. It says, this are the news in Italy. The major market brokers say that, wow, I like having you here. You should come more often. And I hope if that happens, I owe you a beer, brother. I must let you know that I am happy Ronaldo is not coming. I'm happy too, but some people will argue otherwise. They tell you that story. He's the guy we want. But I think otherwise because I think he comes with a lot of baggage. Some say, well, he's a professional. He comes, he performs. That's the same movie we watched, or the same story we heard before Romelu Lukaku joined Chelsea Football Club. And Philip Beatwell says, you're doing everything you can to catch up with City and my team, Liverpool, which I don't blame you, but it will be in vain as far as this upcoming season goes. We'll see, Philip Beatwell. We'll see. And by the way, welcome to the channel. Nice to see you here. Again, we let people express themselves as long as you're respectful. Keep him in block Ake's move. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Colwell? Here's my advice to you is this. My advice to you is we're all calling for the club to back the manager, and we've been told that that the club will only sign players that the manager wants. And Todd Boehly promised not to go for players that the manager doesn't want. If that's the case, if the manager prefers to bring in Ake and let Colwell go, and there's a chance you consider this, be objective about it. There's a chance Colwell wants to leave. We don't know. So if that's the case, if the manager prefers to have Ake, then let it be. 10 Anthony, don't believe what you read. Again, here's an AC Milan fan arguing otherwise. So Ty, let me bring you in and I'll try to catch up with the chat. And if I see any question or any input I think is worth talking about, we will talk about it. Again, we have 100 likes already, so I want to say thank you. That's not easy. I appreciate all the love you showed to this channel. And already we have 4,242 subscribers, and we hit 4,000 just yesterday, right, Ty? Am I correct? Or 2 days ago, so I don't remember. But then again, thank you for all the support. If you haven't, please take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel. And like I've told you, I'd rather you like the video than you donate your hard-earned cash to the channel. There are other ways the channel can make money. First of all, you're doing enough by participating in the conversation, liking the videos, and also sharing it, telling people more about the channel. So thank you. Thank you very much. So Ty, let's talk about how do you think signing Koulibaly, given that he's an international teammate of Edouard Mendy, do you think that would benefit Mendy in any way or vice versa? And if you are in the chat, let us know how you think the signing of Kalidou Koulibaly will benefit Mendy or vice versa or the other way around. I wanna hear that. And if you have a delicious input there, the rest assured we'll look at it. So Ty, over to you.
Yeah, I think it could. I think it could be a plus in a sense for both Koulibaly and Mendy. Particularly for Mendy, because I mean there won't be a language barrier, and I think we've seen in some cases. I remember in the early stages when Mendy first signed, and there was a situation where a defender made up an overlapping pass to one of his attackers, and Kante was running towards Mendy. And you could hear what Mendy said, but obviously I'm not sure many people would understand what he said, and there was something that happened, and Kante did something to block him off, or then that gave Mendy enough time to clear the ball away. So those little type of things is beneficial because both would speak French, both would have that level of understanding with each other. So I think that is a plus, and even if Silva is playing, you do have that. And let me just quickly add this in as well. I mean, if Chalobah is playing, I'm not sure. This is just an assumption. I know that Chalobah is English based, but he was born in France. I don't know if he can speak French, but
I didn't know. I honestly didn't know he was born in France.
Yeah, he was actually. He was born in France, but he's basically. I think he was born there, and then most of his life he's been in English. I'm not sure if he speaks French.
Yeah, but go ahead. I don't want to distract you.
Yeah, but that would be beneficial because you'd have a backline that there won't be a language barrier, so somebody won't be saying do this in whatever language you're speaking, and there won't be an understanding. So especially with the situation where Koulibaly, because I've seen games where Koulibaly and Mendy have had like a connection where something's gonna happen, especially in the Cup of Nations where I remember the situation where I don't remember what team it was. We're gonna make a shot, and Koulibaly blocked it, and he said something. You could hear the audio, and he said something to Mendy, and Mendy made a quick movement, and he jumped and he caught the ball. It was gonna go in, and he did something to ensure that the ball didn't go in. So it's those little things as well. Those little connection in terms of language and speaking the same language, it can benefit you because it means that you don't have that roadblock or that situation that can prevent you from understanding what your teammate is saying to you. So I think that is a plus, and I think it could benefit both parties because it means that they speak the same language, they play for the same team, internationally and country wise. So that is a plus for me, or at least that's what I think.
I think you make your argument makes perfect sense. I think proper communication now. Although we already have players in the team who speak French. I do believe Thiago Silva, he speaks French. What's his name? I'm not sure if Chalobah speaks French, but let's talk about what's the other the Spanish international. Cesar Azpilicueta do speak French he speaks French as well. But here's the difference that Kalidou Koulibaly makes. I think he makes Mendy feel at home. More importantly, he feels more. That is more set. If he was settled 100%, he'd be settled 110%. He has his international teammate. He was the captain. He captains the Senegal national team, right? So having him around, I think, it will make a huge difference in terms of him, Edouard Mendy feeling at home, and him also he's settling. That's why I argued before. I just wanted to come to this before I elaborate on why I think it won't take him that much time to settle in, because he already has Mendy. Who's like, you could argue his family like him. They have bond on international level, and now they have bond in a team like this. Like the Chelsea team. So it works both ways. It will benefit him. It will also benefit Mendy. That's how I see it, and I think I'm happy that we signed him. Again, I cannot express my happiness enough. His experience, but I would love us to still go for De Ligt, even though we've signed him. I think that would complete the whole puzzle. Your thoughts, Ty? Do you think we should forget about De Ligt because you've signed him?
Honestly, I wouldn't say forget about him, but I do think it would be too I think it would be redundant to sign two players, or it would be repetitive, or you're basically repeating two things at the same time. Having two players that can play a similar role. I mean, people look at us. Yes, you have versatility. So if Koulibaly is injured, you have someone that no matter where you call upon them, you have somebody else who can still offer what that player could have done, and it's vice versa with De Ligt. De Ligt can, even though people or people question if De Ligt is as good on the left as he is in the center, or possibly on the right. But I have seen him a lot where he has played on the left and he's done well, and he's another player who's good on the ball. So it's like a like for like in a sense, but it all comes down to adapting to the league. And I think the positive is that both players, if they come in, are coming from an Italian league, so both of them would have if they do have a setback in terms of adapting, it would be for possibly a similar reason, and probably obviously one weakness I don't think that Koulibaly doesn't have and De Ligt may have is his strength, because one is more mobile, one is more robust, more somewhat one has more bulkiness. He has more strength, and he's able to push players. He's able to add that aggression and tackle. But also, I've seen the Ligt do things like that. So I think, in a sense, I mean, I wouldn't say we should just end it, but I think if you're looking at the financial part of it, and probably saying that maybe the money that we will be spending on the Ligt, we could spend it on possibly another one for a cheaper price, and probably we could use that to add to the funds if we're indeed going for a midfielder. It depends on the situation. It depends on what Tuchel believes, and if he thinks that having a player who can also add that like for like swap if things do go sour and things go bad in terms of an injury, you would have another person who would come in and probably offer something similar to what the other one could have done.
Hey, here's the thing. I have to be honest with you. I've thought about it, and it's actually, but again, while it sounds like it would be simple, it will be simple to accommodate both the lead and Koulibaly. It actually isn't. Because if you say, okay, Koulibaly stays on the left, or Koulibaly only starts when Thiago Silva isn't playing, then you start to see problems with March. That's not that simple to solve. If you say the lead moves to the right, then you see there's another problem there. Where does that leave Trevor Chalobah? But then again, we counting. We've always pushed for having two players. There's two players of high quality players who are starters in the same position. That way, we don't have just backups and starters. So we need starters, both two starters in every position. So when the first starter has an injury, whoever started gets injured, the person that comes in would do an equally good job or even better job. So, but my point is overall is this: while it sounds as it's going to be easy to accommodate, but Koulibaly and delete, it actually isn't easy if you think about it that well. Because if you say Koulibaly goes to the left. Again, there are other questions that pops up, then that's not that easy to answer. If you're in the chat, you let us know how you think. Yeah, I'm calling for the club to also
It's
go
a
with the
headache,
delay.
man.
Sorry?
It would be a head. It would be Tuchel has a headache, you know. No
Yeah, it
matter,
won't be
no
that
matter
simple.
who,
Yeah.
yeah, no matter who it is, there is always going to be that situation. Because if we had gone for Kunde, Chalobah plays there. There's a situation where even Koulibaly right now, people look at it as a threat to Levi Cowell. Ake a threat
Mm-hmm.
to Levi Cowell. So either way you look at it, and you know even this is an assumption, but Ian Madison going out on loan, us trying to offload Kennedy, us trying to offload Emerson. I think maybe the plan could be to use Ake on as a fullback and as a centre back if necessary. And that is why I was saying in my point before that the situation that we see with Rudiger at the time playing as a second fullback, I think that adds, you know, that probably may highlight the side of Tuchel that we haven't seen since he's become Chelsea head coach or manager. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how versatile it can be in games, switching the formation up from a back three to a back four. And I think, like I was saying, if you use a 3-5-2, having Ake playing as a left centre back, it means you can play him as a left back, and then you have freedom to use two centre backs who are possibly quality, and then you
Mm-hmm.
have Chalobah if he's playing, also playing in an offensive role. So I do think that there's a lot of positives to it, but at the same time it's gonna be a headache for Tuchel. But I mean Tuchel clearly probably would have thought ahead and say that, oh, I'm gonna get these players in. But we also had Chalobah who had a good enough season last
Mm-hmm.
summer, even though we wanted to loan him out and then see what happened. So it's going to be a situation where I think he's thinks about it, but it's going to be a headache. He's going to have to find a way to balance each game time, give enough game to each player, give good enough games that they will be fine with. But I mean, we're going to be playing a lot of games. There will be spaces in between of the season, and I mean, if we aim to go further in the Champions League than we did last season, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to rest players, have priorities in terms of who start these games to prepare for the Champions League games. There could be a perfect balance, but it's down to the decision Tuchel thinks and who he prioritizes as players that need to be starting, players who need game time, and we
Yeah,
play
yeah.
teams and things like that. So it depends on Tuchel.
Yeah, quickly, let me catch up with the chat again. But first of all, I want to say thank you for 107 likes, and we still have 119 people watching. So keep liking the video if you haven't, and also do subscribe to the channel. More importantly, I cannot thank you enough. You guys are absolute legends. You guys are the reason why we just 2 days after getting to, or just a day after getting to 4,000 subscribers, we're nearing a quarter into 5,000 subscribers, and I know, like I've always said, we'll get there in a few days, and it's all because of your support, your excellent support, your love for the channel. I cannot thank you enough. So please, if you haven't, take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Here, I think I've read this from Maxwell Biden. He says Gnabry said he is not interested in Chelsea as a sign of respect for Arsenal. Tell me where you heard that. And again, if you have his contact, tell him I really want to speak with him. But I'm just kidding, bro. It's all speculations. Even if he did say that, show the player the money and they will follow you. It's all business for the player, for the club. As much as it is business for the clubs, it is business for the players also. Show the player the money and they will come to you. Again, I'd rather, to me, again, that's me. I'd rather us go for Leroy Sané than Gnabry. I have my reasons for that. But we're not going to get into that today. Chris CMC says, at least we know it will be a super interesting this year. We could absolutely exceed expectations. There's a chance that happens if we are strategic with our signings all through. If we're not just going out there and signing players, but of which it doesn't look like that's what we're doing. I think we're signing to solve the problems we have in the team. I hope that we apply that approach to the midfield area and look for midfielders to get us goals and not midfielders who just pass ball around backwards, sideways. We need midfielders also that be able to get us goals, and that's why I'd also to start. If there's anybody I'd like us to hijack, let it be De Jong. Again, that's me. My argument there. I say the reaction. Let me see more. Common people don't believe everything. There are some things because. It aligns with what you want to happen, you can't help but believe it. It's as simple as that. We're humans after all. Sometimes we're biased when it comes to selfish, if you want to see it that way. Some of us just want to believe, that the Napoli fan there has told us the truth because we won Rafael Leon at Chelsea Football Club. So the moment he says that, you just grab it and believe it, even if others are telling you that's nonsense. Don't believe it. You in most cases you could care less. But that's, by the way, that says if Chelsea can put a 6 million for Rafinha, they can put 50 million for Ziyech for Leon. Again, you're gonna force. Are you going to force AC Milan to accept it? Have Chelsea signed any defenders yet? Oh, okay. Okay, we're completing. We're at the verge of completing the signing of Kalidou Koulibaly. We're also talking to Kimpembe. Anybody else? Did I miss anybody? Ty?
Ake is still there.
Ake also, yeah. The talks are ongoing, and then those deals we're hearing that they're all closed, especially the case of Kalidou Koulibaly, who are merchant market. Explain, I don't know. Ake is done. No, it's not done. We're hearing it's close. That's all I'm hearing. There are a few details to iron out, and a few details could take days. I don't know. And we've seen some reports saying that Chelsea will finalize the signing of Ake in a week or so. I don't know. Why let Colwell go? If we get any injuries at the back, then we are gonna be short again. The question I have for you is this, Rivera. What if Colwell wants to leave? Would you force him to stay? I don't think it makes sense. I don't think I want us to keep any player that wants to leave. That's a chance he wants to leave, but we don't know. We will find out later, just as it is with the case of Tino Livramento. We were furious. The fan base got so mad that we let him go, and then we heard he wants to leave. The club wants to keep him, but he wanted to leave. And if you force a player to leave, a player who already knows that there are no shortage of clubs, willing to, take them on a permanent, give them game time week in, week out, that he be able to get at Chelsea Football Club, they would want to leave. And if you force them to stay, they run down their contract and leave on a free. So it's a risk. Okay, AC Milan prioritizing who? Catalan from Bruges, Ziyech on back burner. So they're serious about the business. Or we say, Yellow says, that's the noise about 19-year-old kid. If he really wants to play for the football club, he honestly have to be more patient. But they're not, and you can't blame them. And I wouldn't advocate us keeping them for selfish reasons because we want numbers in the squad. I don't think it makes sense. Says not only Mendy, he once played with Jorginho. How did I miss that?
Yeah, I could have mentioned that, but you asked a question specifically about that, so I didn't mention it.
Yeah, but go ahead. How that will influence the performance of Jorginho? Do you think it improves? I don't think it improves.
I don't think
we don't play in the same manner Napoli did under Sarri.
Yeah, I just thought because I mean, there's a difference in the playing style compared to that because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Jorginho came this what when did Mbappe go to PSG? 2018, 2017, probably earlier than that.
I can't remember. I'm not sure. I'm not sure of
Yeah,
the
so
dates.
Jorginho probably would not have been a part of the team that actually. If that's the case, he wouldn't be have been a part of the team where played with longevity
Hmm.
with George with Levi Koulibaly. I can't even speak, man. So in terms of that, it's a case where yes, if they play with each other, but I don't really think that makes much of a difference unless we decide to play Jorginho as a centre back and they play alongside each other, which I don't think happens. It's like the situation where people are using with Rafinha and Mendy, who also played in the same team, Stade Rennais. So I think in that sense, I don't really think it makes a difference. I just think that having a familiar face and it would really make it easier for him to adjust. Not only on the pitch but also to a different climate, a different country. I think probably that would only be the plus because he's gonna see familiar faces, and it will make it easier for him, and he won't really feel like an outsider. I think maybe
Hmm.
that would only be the positive that from that, other than the reasons that I was giving with Mendy and everything else.
Please. Okay, Ty. Yeah. So sorry. I know you guys heard that. I was trying to deal with my boys. I'm begging them to be patient with me. I'll be done in a bit. But that's by the way. Now, again, he says in this picture, Kalidou Koulibaly, the logo of best defender of Syria, the Napoli's logo. Yeah, it's mixed a bit. Yeah, that's the truth. Again, says True Blue. Exactly, that's true. And here says 49 days left in the transfer window, and finally a confirmed Chelsea signing, and then you could see two more in a few days. And like I said a few days ago during the Blue Morning Show, that once the once we get the first signing across the line, it will be like a floodgate is
Yep, I
open,
remember that.
and the signings will start coming in like this, and it's happening. And I've always argued, and Ty have always argued, and most of us, surprisingly, the most stubborn of those of the Thomas and Bobby, he's even talked about the club being in a relegation fight if things continue the
Yeah,
way, yeah, the word the day he spoke. But again, he changed his mind every now and then after listening to people talk. How it'd be stupid if in fact the club, if those in charge of the powers that be aren't really hard at work behind the scenes. We've always argued they are working hard, and we'll find out. And I'm still going to say this also. That's a chance we see players that we didn't even think the club were that they've been talked that they talked to. We'd see them coming to the club. But that's by the way. And here also, and I can also say that Mikhail, he's my brother, and I love him so much. But he was concerned too. You should see his tweets. He was Mikhail was concerned too, but rightly so. Most of us we deal with situations differently, and as a content creator and as creators, I and Ty, again, it wouldn't help if we see fans panicking, being concerned. We don't find a way to educate them and make them understand that look, it will that the witches we're not even halfway into the window, and there's no way the transfer window will open and shut, and for Chelsea not to have a good transfer window. I think this will actually be one of the best windows we've ever had in the club's history. But let's pay attention and see what happens. Again, I say, can Tyrone down his shocked what he gives me hot rumors? I'm not sure what you're talking about, True Blue. Please elaborate. Coachella transfer watch pays off. Yeah, it has paid off also. And thank you to all the fans that supported this channel. That's why we are closing into 5,000 subscribers, and that number isn't far-fetched. I say that True Blue, once the Belgium wonder kid is in Milan, then my hope is to get Ziyech as well. I love his play. Again, Ziyech is a player I love too, but unfortunately, for some reason, it hasn't worked for him at Chelsea. Obvious reasons, if you want. Ty, coming back to you, let's talk about something that people has always talked about. Even when the automated stream was going on, people are coming in there saying Kalidou Koulibaly is too old. He doesn't have pace and all that nonsense. Let's start about with his pace. You can if you want to, and also talk about his age. Is that an issue for you? Do you think he struggled because of those two factors in the Premier League?
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah,
I,
it's a
I, I
laughing
had to
matter,
still
right?
laugh because of what you Blue said,
It's
man.
laughable. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. But anyways, yeah, I don't think that makes much of a difference because I mean, look, I think somebody has made this point as well. He's practically 1 year, 1 month rather, older than Van Dijk. So Liverpool sell Van Dijk because he's hit 31. I don't
Mm.
I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna consider that. I don't think age in itself makes the difference. I think what makes a difference is how the performances are when they reach a certain age. It's not about the age, it's about the performances. And from what I've seen of Koulibaly, it's not a case where because he's hit this age, he's gonna be declining. Yes, in some cases, when you hit a certain age, your body's not the same. Your body becomes more susceptible to injuries, and you may lose some pace. But right
Hmm.
now, unless Koulibaly so happens to lose a lot of the pace that he has over a couple of weeks, I don't think
Hmm.
that really is an issue. Yes, he's an older player, but that also brings experience. It also brings a sense of knowledge on his part because he knows that over the period you're gonna still see these dirty type of players that will play in a dirty way, try to get a reaction of you to try to make you do things, and they'll try to do flicks or try to do skills to get past you. When you have that experience, and that is why players like Thiago Silva, for his age, he although he's not the same as he was when he was younger, when he was 24, 26, and I know things like that, it also does add that little experience to his game, and it also adds knowledge in
Mm.
terms of and this is something that I think you were mentioning earlier, that people and I think someone mentioned it. I'm not sure because I'm going back and forth in terms of things because I'm reading things and I'm hearing things as well. That he's good when it comes on to tracking back, and I mean Silva. We've seen that Silva is being able to catch up with pacey players and win the ball from them. That is something that even at his age is impressive because you'd assume that somebody at the time he was 38 being that quick, getting back, making those off the line clearances, that is not something easy, especially for his age. So I think in terms of that, I don't think him being 31 or him being an older player makes much of a difference because I do think that in a sense he's not an injury prone player as well. So I think in that sense, unless
Yeah, that's something people aren't paying attention to.
yeah,
I
so
think he
it's not
takes
like he's
very
an
good
injury
good
prone
care of
player.
himself.
Yeah, he takes care of himself, and that is why his players like Silva, he may have his little niggles here because that happens. Fatigue creeps in, continuously pressing and doing training, aggressive training, putting added pressure onto your body parts. It does cause those little niggles, but his injury record is fantastic, and these are the type of things that you need in the. When I speak about experience, not only on the pitch, but experience and the leadership that you have as well, it benefits them because it will indicate to players that I like this guy's training habits. I like his routine. It's good. It gives him an advantage when it comes on to playing games, being called upon without having those fear that if I play him he's gonna get injured because he takes care of himself. And Silva is like that. Ronaldo is like that. Lewandowski is like that. You have a couple of players who ensure that they balance it out. Yes, they'll do other things, outside of football, but they balance it out. They'll eat healthy. They'll do things. They may
Hmm.
eat some unhealthy food because that's life. Some people eat unhealthy food. So, but they'll
Hmm.
balance it out, and they use that fat that they need in their body, and use it as to develop their metabolism. So in terms of that, I don't want to bring science into it and all type of biology and everything, but things like that, it's beneficial to the body, and it benefits him because having a good injury record means that you don't need to worry about that. And yes, people say that he's coming to a different league, the physicality is different, the aggression is different, but at the same
Yeah.
time he does have a good injury record, and it does benefit the team. So for me, I don't agree with he's this age, he's older, this like that. The older he is, as long as his performances doesn't drop, As long as he continues with the attitude and the confidence that he has, it benefits the team because more experienced players benefits the team, and that is what we need if you want to challenge for the title anytime soon.
Here's something quickly, just for us to conclude on his pace and everything. And I'm going to bring Deals in. Deals, quickly, before I show what I want to show on the screen, and as I show that video clip, I want everybody in the chat to let me know what you see. As what Koulibaly did, what he did, it's funny, but it was effective. And again, it just again,
I know what you're talking about.
Intelligence. You already know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Deals, your thoughts, and if you're in the chat, let us whether you think that Koulibaly's age will be an issue in the Premier League. Again, whether he'd struggle, whether he'd take time to adapt. Let us know your thoughts. Go ahead, Deals. What do you think? Deals, are you with us, or do you have a problem? I've added you. Do you have an issue with your connection or so? We can't hear him. So I'm going to go straight, and this is it. I'm going to straight to the video, and I want to share the video here, and I hope we all can see the video shared by ESPN, UEFA.com. Credit to them. And this video here, let's look at it very well. Maybe I would try to maximize it if possible. Okay, there you go. Okay, let me just mute it so I don't get into trouble. Now look at this video. See Koulibaly, see his fellow defender pointing him, go there. See how he pushed him into position. That shows you how intelligent of a player he is. Because just look at him. And had he tried to go behind the guy and be the one to cover Mbappe on there, there's a chance he wouldn't get there and Mbappe would be gone. Or there's a chance Mbappe switches route and then come in from this side. But see that? I see intelligence. I see experience. What else? What other words should I use here? He's just brilliant. I see leadership too. Just watch it. See how he pushed him into position. Tell me what you think about that clip, Ty.
My Italian is not the best, but I want to use this word, magnifico, fantastica. It's fantastic. It's magnificent. The intelligence to do that. I mean, it's funny, but it works because it adds pressure onto Mbappe. Because he's done his little trickery to get past players. It doesn't work. He goes back to the left. Koulibaly knows that he can't get there. The defender who looks like he's backing off him and trying to some type of thing so he can probably defend the ball if he takes a pass. But for Koulibaly to just push him. I mean, it's funny, but it benefited him because the strength that he had. Yeah, it pushed him. I mean, the guy, that's the attitude that you need. And I mean, it's an upgrade on Rudiger's part because you never know. He has that, I don't want to use this word on the channel, but he has that SH, hosiery. So it's ruthless. It's something.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ty.
It's ruthless.
Yep. Those are your thoughts. What do you think about people arguing that his age will be an issue in the Premier League? Do you think that would be the case?
No. No, it's not going to be no issue with no age because you look at Thiago Silva, he didn't have no problems. Yeah, and about 5 years ago, Koulibaly was up there with the world-class defenders. Yeah, so with the age issue, there's no age issue problem. Yeah, he's gonna bind him properly fine. Yeah, I think that what we got to realize is Koulibaly. If you look at the strength he's got a lot of strength with him. Yeah, so with him coming to the Premier League, I think he will suit the Premier League fine. There won't be no issues. Yeah, he's not gonna be like a Malang Sarr. That's not gonna happen. But people just need to be patient. Yeah. Koulibaly's not coming to play about. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's coming to boss up. Yeah, we missed out a leader on Rudiger. Yeah, we missed out on Aspie. He's going now. Yeah, we missed out on leaders. We need leaders. Yeah, Koulibaly's a leader. He's that leader. Yeah, you look at that video. That's a leader right there. That's a leader right there. And that's what we're getting.
So, can I say something quickly?
Yeah, quickly.
The amount of times that I heard Deals say, I could probably get drunk.
You mean Deals If he doesn't do that, I'll ask him for his ID. Let me let you know that on time. But that's by the way. Again, looking at this video, I can't get enough of this clip. Honestly, just look at what he did there. Oh my goodness, that's just brilliant. But that's by the way, Mikhail. Your question, I think, True Blue answered your question. 2 comments below, and their comment, and again, take this advice from Mikhail. If it's not on the website, don't believe it. I think I am the same too. We will still be talking about analyzing things as they go on, but I will not believe it until I see it on the website. And again, I want to see what else I have here. He says, William wants, yep, that's brilliant. That is a delicious comment right there. A perfect example. William once completed a medical at Tottenham. Only believe what you read on the club's website. Even Mikel Obi took pictures with Sir Alex Ferguson and ended up playing for Chelsea Football Club. So only believe it when there's an official statement on the website. Yep. Again, I'll say, I'm going to skip to the very bottom, and apologies to those of you that joined late. I think we've come to the end of the show. I think my boys are calling for my attention. I need to go stay with them for a while. It will make a difference. The difference are the chemistry, understanding, and communication. This is also a plus besides their individual abilities. Yep, I agree with you. Again, I'm going to skip to the very bottom. Apologies if I miss any of your comments, probably because you joined a bit late. And thank you to a Napoli fan, 10 or Turner, for joining us. You've been a brilliant. I can't thank you enough for all the contributions. Just 1 second. I would just add that people concerned about Koulibaly is not his age. We have all seen him play, and our concerns are valid. That says he is our player. I hope he does well. I think he would do well. No question about that. Again, any other Ty? Go ahead. You wanted to say something? Yeah, you wanted to say something, Deals. Sorry, before I go to Ty.
Can I ask you a question, Coach? Who do you feel that is the most exciting signing right now? Sterling or Koulibaly? If we get, obviously Koulibaly's coming, obviously. But who you more excited about? Who you more excited, Sterling or Koulibaly?
Oh my gosh!
That's a very difficult question. Here's the thing. Exciting for me, it's a different meaning.
Yeah.
Let me say, I'll give you 2. The most important is Koulibaly.
Yep.
The most important, I would say, Koulibaly. The most exciting will end up being Raheem Sterling. He operates mainly in the final third. But believe me, Koulibaly also is capable of, providing, excitement in that he's able to pass the ball with both feet comfortably.
And what has been said about Koulibaly, I read obviously a little piece on Twitter, and one of the journalists was saying that the strikers that are coming against us, they're gonna find it very hard for space against Koulibaly. He doesn't leave gaps. You know what I'm saying? So
I can see him doing this to Alonso.
I feel sorry for
I can see him pushing Alonso into space like this. That honestly.
No,
I feel sorry for the opposition because I feel
that will make Chelsea fans very happy.
They're not gonna find it easy to find gaps. You know what I'm saying? With Koulibaly being there with Silva. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be tight from our end. MC Kai say, is it possible? Mikhail says, is it possible to stress test Aki's children?
What is happening today?
Here's the thing. The truth is, I could have ended this show, but I knew Mikhail would say one thing that I'm not gonna forget for a few days. That's all he comes up with.
TY and Coach, you never guess who's interested in Conde.
Oh my goodness!
You never guess.
Don't do this to me, man. I was laughing. Don't make me cry now, please.
You never know. You never guess who's interested in Conde, Coach.
Who? Barcelona. I heard that.
Nope. A new front runner's come up now. You never guess who.
Who is that? Pep Guardiola?
Don't miss Man City because Man City has been there a long time.
Who? But who?
Get out. No.
He says who?
Oh my gosh.
Who wants him?
Conte, Tottenham.
Okay, we'll see what happens. I think he fits well into his team. But that's, by the way, I want who my manager wants. That's it for me. That's all I'm going to give. He says, big up Koulibaly. I want what's best for our club too, but don't describe panic buying. Yeah, I don't think we're panic buying at this point. I think we're buying the players the manager wants. Panic buying is what landed us in Romelu Lukaku. Yep, whether anybody wants it or not, that's just the truth.
Big up to you, Mikhail.
What's the type of player I want on the team? That's the type of player I want on the team. Again, nice to see you here at the Other Time podcast. If you haven't, please go check out his YouTube channel. And don't forget to go check out my brother Ty Talks YouTube channel. Again, be sure, just give me a second. Let me take up this banner so I'll be able to show what I wanted to show. Yep, hide it, please. Be sure to go check out my brother Ty Talks YouTube channel and subscribe, please. And also let him know I sent you. He's done quite well for himself. We want to help him reach 1,000 as soon as possible. Right now, he's at 200 plus, but because he's been busy with priorities, some priorities that trumps, making videos, but we can still, he has a very, very good video that I'd like you to go and watch. The video that explains what the anti-Glazers clause is on the contract for the soul of the club. I think you should go watch it, and please be sure to tell him I sent you. Ty Talks CFC, that's the only channel that will pop up. Please support him. And again, here, this is a good one I like. He says, where's Bobby? I need an apology from him panicking. I don't blame him, but if you followed Bobby, you should know he changed. He said, yeah, he listens to some good journalists, and he changed his mind. He believes the club would do well. KK will be pushing Sa like that because, yeah, that's the truth, because Alonso is gone. Again, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we've come to the end of the show. I can't thank you guys enough. Ty, quickly, I want to get your final thoughts on everything, your thoughts on everything we talked about today. Okay, looks like we've lost a Ty. Deals, how about you? Your thoughts on everything we've talked about today?
Everything was positive. Everything's like it's going on a good side right now. We've got Koulibaly. We're getting Koulibaly. We've got Sterling. So everything, we've got to be excited now. We've got to be patient and excited. Yeah. Now Tuchel's getting his players. We're ready to cook.
Yeah, indeed. They are ready to cook. And Ty, again, after the show later on, I'll send you a link for you to comment to help me make some suggestions. And Mikhail, I'll send you something to help me make a suggestion. Again, Ty looks like he's busy right now. So with that, we've come to the end of the show. I want to thank everybody. And like I've told those that are not Chelsea fans, stick around, subscribe to the channel. We'll be launching a sister channel in 3 weeks or a month's time. And I want all of you to be part of it. You're not going to regret it. You will like it. Again, believe me, I'll do my best to make sure you will not regret it. Thank you to 10. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. 10 Turner. Thank you. Chama Yusuf, thank you very much, my sister. Thank you for showing up. I know you're busy. Thank you, Mikhail, brother. I know how busy you are. Thank you for finding the time to join. Thank you, Herbert Kingpin. Thank you, the Added Time podcast. If you haven't, go check out his channel and be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. Thank you, Jojo Dehia. Again, thank you for joining. If you haven't, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you to Louis Rivera, a constant now here. I love you so much. Thank you for all the support, bro. I appreciate that. And to every other person in the chat, the queen of the Chelsea perspective was here herself, Just Viola, but I know it's late where she is. With that, we've come to the end of the show. And if I missed your name, my apologies. I'm only human. So thank you. Thank you again for 4,000 subscribers. And we're not far away. Soon we'll get to 5,000 subscribers in a few days. I believe that will happen. So thank you for all the support. I love you all. See you guys tomorrow for the Blue Money Show. God bless us all, and cheers.
to